I just started building sites, and next thing I know, a few years later, I had 120 sites. I've made a lot of money over the years, and I've lost an awful lot of money.
What are your thoughts on the current state of AI in the SEO industry?
They need to step out of the rankings and traffic mindset and step into their conversion and leads and sales mindset. The SEO team sometimes are isolated in a bubble.
Do you see much value in doing reward-based systems as well for agency employees?
It's super important for everyone within the team to get on with each other.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode where I'll be interviewing SEO experts and entrepreneurs from around the world. In today's episode, we've got somebody who started doing SEO back in the very early 2000s with lead generation websites. He built over 100 lead generation websites in the early 2000s, then ran and sold multiple agencies in the UK, and now he's a speaker, consultant, and author, and he runs training workshops for various agencies across the US and the UK. Please welcome Mark Preston to the channel, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, thanks for having me.
No worries at all. Do you want to give everybody a bit more of a introduction on where you've come from and your background?
Oh, yes. Well, originally, I'm a qualified mechanic.
Oh, okay.
And I've always said that in those days, the ability to get a car and diagnose what the problem is and strip it down and fix it was the basis of what I am now, right? Then, due to family health issues, I had to do something myself, so I wasn't tied to anything. So I just started building sites, and next thing I know, a few years later, I had 120 sites, and they started generating loads of leads, and I basically just tested things and worked out myself what were happening and drove organic traffic and leads and sold those leads to related businesses. Then I sold all that and plowed my money into an agency. Let's just say that that first agency wasn't what I expected it to be. I ended up working my arse off 24/7, literally for other people, and I've always said that I'm never going to start an agency ever again. But I then set up my own franchise. That did well. I sold that. But I found a real passion for educating people. So basically, I'm not going to lie. I've made a lot of money over the years, and I've lost an awful lot of money. And if I can help others not go through the pain and heartache I went through and make the same mistakes, then that has to be a benefit to other people. So now I concentrate on educating other people on, the best ways forward, give them a business mindset. Plus, I also I'm a non-exec director and advisor in a few companies. I own a share of the business, which is my retirement pot.
Yeah, well, it's probably a pretty nice retirement pot that it's building towards, I'm guessing, at this point.
It is. Yeah, it's again, one of the learnings I found is not to put all your eggs in one basket, which was a very costly mistake. And, it went through a very tough period because of that decision.
Yeah, no, it's a very common thing when entrepreneurs kind of see everything going so well. All you want to do is just keep on throwing cash at what's working so that you get more cash back, right? But inevitably that can run dry. And if you're putting loads in and that inevitably doesn't, come back with an output, you can end up blowing up your business, right? And that's what happens to tons of agencies that kind of mess up their cash flow because they're not lean and that they're not, running a solid agency that's keeping up with the times and trends and stuff. And kind of talking about the times and trends and things, what are your thoughts on the current state of AI in the SEO industry?
I think personally that a lot of people are confusing AI with the capabilities of AI and how it can help them streamline what they're doing. I feel that a lot of the industry are just in this AI content generating mindset, right? But AI, when you look into it deep, it goes much more. I mean, there's so many things you can do to help streamline processes, help you be more productive. It's not just creating content.
And now for a quick message from our sponsor, Search Intelligence. If you're looking for digital PR campaigns, what you're about to see should impress you.
We got 20 links and placements on massive websites such as The Express, Mirror, Daily Record and many more, with a campaign about the pros and cons of popular diets. Not bad. This is exactly how we've done it. Our client is a very popular fitness client. We have asked them to provide thorough expert commentary about the pros and cons of the most popular diets. Once we have this information, we put this in a nice email and send it out to 15,000, yes, 15,000 journalists from around the world that write about fitness. So good. And unhealthy. Big publications picked up our story from the email, giving our client massive, juicy, saucy, healthy links that are 100% relevant to their website and that will keep the rankings of the website in a great shape. You see what I've done there? I hope this case study inspires and that you will start leveraging expert commentary type campaigns to land links to your or your client's website, just like we've done it with this campaign.
Yeah, exactly. The capabilities that are coming out of some of the new models and stuff, especially the integrated multimodal models and things and stuff, even in like the real world, is absolutely scary, right? When you start seeing these like bricklaying robots and things and stuff that can be 20 to 30 times more efficient than humans and it's perfect every time. Like that's kind of scary, when it can actually start replacing experts at their job for a lot lower cost, right? And some of these machines aren't really that expensive. You're just basically calling back to a server in California for pennies on the dollar for API credits and things, right? To essentially run these large machineries and stuff. So do you think that AI is going to be replacing a lot of the human writing tasks? It seems like you said there that you thought it would more be improving the capabilities, but you also said that a lot of agencies and people seemed quite worried about it and confused from the wrong way, as if it was going to replace them. Do you think they're just worried about it and they will kind of, because they're so confused and worried and things, it might actually inevitably happen to them because they don't do anything about it, right? Do you think that it will start replacing people, or is it just going to improve people's tasks, specifically in agencies?
Right, there's two sides of it here. Is I speak to some CEOs who see, when GPT come out, they saw it as this magic wand that they don't have to employ people anymore, that'll do it for them. So there's that education side of it. But as far as SEOs and content writers taking over their job, well, if you strip it right back, AI content is just the new baseline. That you can, use tremendous prompts and give it all the research and sources to create a starting point. Then, as a content writer SEO, it's your job to then add value to what it pumps out, because that is just a starting point. Because all AI content is just basically rewritten information that's already out there. So in order to really propel yourself, you need to add value. Just copy and pasting what it spits out is the people it's going to replace. The people it's going to replace are what I call the lower content writers, lower quality content writers. One that just writes an article based on this topic and it has so many words and that kind of thing. And we, as an industry, we need to get a lot more detailed into, the purpose of it, looking at conversions, is this, piece of content actually going to convert into real business?
Yeah, 100%. I think that with AI, it's this whole thing of kind of speaking from first-hand experience, right? Whereas writers can actually speak from first-hand experience, whereas an AI is essentially rewriting a bunch of other people's first-hand experience. And you see it in the AI content. So you can ask an AI to do a review of a piece of content. And because it is rewriting multiple people's first-hand experience, first-hand opinions, sometimes it will contradict itself even within the same paragraph, right? It will say, oh, this is a really good product. And then it will say, actually, it's a scam, right? Because it's writing from two different people's opinions, because it's not a sole individual, right? And that's where you kind of need the people to do that editing and additional oversight and things to kind of maximize the output. So how do you think agencies can kind of future-proof themselves going forward against this technology, maybe utilizing it even more so?
Honestly, I believe they need to step out of the rankings and traffic mindset and step into their conversion and leads and sales mindset. Because at the end of the day, if an agency is basically helping the business to actually physically grow with profit, then they're not going to want to let that agency leave. But if all they're doing is regurgitating content, and yes, it might get ranked, it might drive traffic, but I do think there's a disconnection in the industry. And I've seen it when I've been in agencies. There is a disconnection with the business mindset, because maybe the SEO team isn't given the sort of business information on that side. So that's the sort of disconnection. I think from an agency point of view, if the business you're working with, the goal is to drive revenue or so many leads, then that's what you need to focus on.
Yeah, clients care about their bottom line the most at the end of the day, right? You can come out with all this amazing technical jargon and stuff, and they won't listen to you. They don't care, right? All they want to listen to is how much money you made them at the end of the day, and how much money more than they paid you that you made them, right? That's the main thing. And that's what I think a lot of SEOs get wrong when it comes to selling things. So you probably had more experience kind of dealing with the ins and outs of agencies, especially kind of, going into agencies, doing training and things like that, than most people in the industry, maybe even in the world. What do you think are the most common things that agencies are getting wrong at the moment? Do you think it's from an SEO perspective, or is it from a business perspective, from a hiring perspective? What do you think is the main kind of common issues?
Well, this one, when you say common issues, I truly believe it's communication, right? I mean, there's some tremendously very good agencies out there with fantastic teams, right? Now, I think that the SEOs need to be involved in the pre-sale stage. And I think the SEO team sometimes are isolated in a bubble, right? And in the agency, it's like a conveyor belt. So, but unless those people in those bubbles totally understand what's going on and what's expected and everything, they tend to go off on a tangent. And I do think that's one of the main things. It's not about, this SEO doesn't know how to do this certain schema or anything. It's realistically stepping back and looking at the agency from a higher business perspective, especially is in them pre-sales conversations, get the team involved. And I think that's the for me, looking from the outside in, when I've gone in and asked certain questions to the SEO team or the content team or anything, it's just, we've been given these tasks to do.
Yeah, you said about getting on the call prior to the sale with the whole team. Is that kind of like a setting expectations thing as well with the client, where agencies just are kind of almost overselling their actual capabilities and what they're going to produce for client results as well?
Yeah, well, the SEO team doesn't need to be on the sales call, but there needs to be an internal meeting to discuss that call before they jump on. So, an agency employs people because they are specialists in their individual field, hopefully. Now, why not, ask them in advance, just say, look, we're going to pitch to this business who's, wanted us to work with them. What do you think? What do you think we need to happen? What can you spot? What opportunities? What quick wins can we gain? And I think sometimes that's the disconnection. So getting the team involved at the very start before they even win the business can really benefit things moving forward.
I think it also kind of levels up your entire staffing team, right? Because then everybody has a better understanding of what they're doing, what they're selling, how to go about business, how to go about conducting sales, the whole lot, right? It's kind of like a holistic approach to improving your team without actually having to invest a large amount of resources or time into doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting people involved. They feel as though they are part of this because they've contributed to it. Other than, they've got this new client, just go and do SEO. But basically, there's no personal connection with it. And if a team has a personal connection with something, they're going to do a better job, what anybody says.
Do you see much value in doing reward-based systems as well for agency employee teams?
I think that it depends how you go about rewarding people. For me personally, if the reason they're doing it is because they gain a certain reward, I don't think that's a good environment. Right? Now, not having a reward system and then saying, look, we smashed that client. They're super happy. They've increased the budget. Let's all go out for a meal to celebrate. That's the sort of things that I think needs to happen rather than, if you achieve X, Y, Z, you'll get X, Y, Z.
Yeah, and you want a team that, at the end of the day, like each other as well and actually talk to each other. This whole point of communication, right? I've gone into a lot of agencies before where you can kind of see some people are gritting their teeth at other people, and there's definitely just a very kind of almost toxic work culture that has been portrayed. And I don't know if that's on the manager or it's on the CEO, but I think at the end of the day, there needs to be, like you said, like a cohesive communication between the entire team and all departments. Otherwise, the agency isn't going to be able to improve across the board. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say that I've seen some agency teams destroyed because of one negative person. They come in, the face is on the floor, they're always negative, and it drains everybody. And from a manager's point of view, if you can't turn those people around, you need to get shut. And it's a cruel thing to say, but you can't have those types of people bringing everyone down. So it's super important for everyone within the team to get on with each other.
Yeah.
You
have to cut the rotting fruit off at the loin kind of thing, right? Otherwise the whole batch gets corrupted. Yeah, 100%. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anywhere where anybody can find you online?
Yes. You can find me at Mark A. Preston. Just search that. I'm all over the place. And I have a podcast at Unscripted SEO Podcast. If you search it, you can find it.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Peace.